Tim Petrowich for Dateline Marion, and our guest, as usual, is Marion head football coach Kerry Martin. And Coach, we get to talk about a win today for a little while, 56-14 over Mount Vernon. And first quarter, maybe not quite as fast as you wanted, but it was a quarter where you didn't get behind. You actually scored points, and then really opened things up in the second period.
Yeah, it was good to get off to a good start. Second drive was a good drive, but penalties hurt us on the second drive. And I thought we asked for 3 phases of the game to be good this week, and I think we had 3 good phases. I think offense played well, put a lot of points on the board. I forget the exact numbers, but our scoring drives averaged around 2 minutes apiece. We didn't have a lot of possession, but when we had the ball, we scored quickly. Our special teams played well again, much better, and our defense continues to play good. So it's a nice win for us. Big win at home, pink out game, big crowd, and a lot of things to smile about for that one.
6 touchdowns on the first 7 possessions, and I think it wound up being 8 out of 10. But in those 6, only 4 of them started in Marion territory. So you were able to get good field position and win the field position battle. A lot of that had to do with defense too.
It did, and that's the thing about defense is we talk about stopping the opponent and getting turnovers, but part of defense is creating field position for you. And of course, everyone knows special teams can do that with a kickoff that's well covered, or a punt deep in territory. But I think the main thing is that we took the ball and did something with it, and we had good tempo, and our kids executed pretty well for a Friday night football game.
And let's talk a little bit about the special teams, because you start off by kicking the ball in the end zone for a touchback. First 2 or 3 offensive plays Mount Vernon ran were plays for losses, and then something that I haven't really seen a whole lot of, but we saw some of this time, is on the punts, on punt return, the guys actually caught the ball and went for yardage, where a lot of times the ball's been downed or fair caught or something like that. So everybody became a little more aggressive on Friday night, I thought.
Yeah, that was part of the plan, was to be a little more aggressive and go for it. I mean, we've been holding back a little bit at times and showing that inconsistency you and I talked about. We play really well and play aggressive and put points on the board, and then we would almost get back on our heels a little bit. So we asked the kids to really just play, just keep playing, and don't let up, and don't have that good drive, bad drive situation. I thought they handled that really well. So yeah, it was a good night. I think the offensive line continued to play well. We had good performances out of a lot of different people, and I think Boston Ziegler continues to play well.
I want to tell you this, because I think it was the second or third drive is the play where Drake Gravatt ran for, I think, 25 or 26 yards for a touchdown, and he got the ball. And I think you were in your change of pace offense at that time. He got the ball, and a hole opened up that was probably about 10 yards wide. And I was standing next to your brother on the field, and I looked at him and I said, I think I could have scored on that one. Yeah. Because of the way the offensive line did.
Yeah, they did, and they've done that all year long. We've had a really good play from our guys up front, and Coach Skeet's done a great job with those guys. And we're not very deep, nobody's really deep, but I talk to every other coach, they tell me the same thing. So, but depth is a hard thing to find, but what we've got, we like a lot. They play well together, and they continue to get better. And I think what I love most about the game, I think, besides the 3 phases all coming together, was I like the fact that we got contributions from Lucas Will, who had a really good ball game, and Frankie Horner had a nice catch and run, and we saw Calvin Threadgill and Moses Mays make some plays for us in the backfield, and Jake Welch had a good night catching the ball and getting yards after catch, and the defensive line, Justin Lambert and Quentin Patterson, James Gunn, Zach Kelly, all played well up front. We almost doubled our tackles for loss. I think we had 10 the first 3 games or first 4 games, and we had 11 in this ball game, or vice versa. But we were getting off the ball, we were beating blocks and making plays behind the line of scrimmage, and that's just a good feeling, to see our kids come out and perform. You're out there rooting for them to have the kind of game they can have, and to see some of them do that was a good feeling. And I got to give a shout out to Lucas Will for, coming in as that second quarterback. But we always tell the kids, if you come in as a second string player, once you take the field, you're a starter, and he played like a starter.
That one touchdown run, 35, 36 yards, and he broke tackles all the way
Yes.
from the 10 to the goal line.
Just love to see a kid come in, and he's not the starter, but we're trying to get him on the field and give him a few series a game and play him at some running back or whatever receiver and at times and using him on special teams, but just instead of pouting and dropping his head and being down about the starting position, he's finding ways to contribute, make us a better team, and he certainly did that on Friday.
We've talked a lot about this too, but it bears mentioning the fact that you like to get a lot of different people involved. And yeah, when it scores 56-14, and invariably that's going to happen. But in the first half, you completed 14 passes to 9 different receivers, and I think 10 different receivers caught balls in the game. But in the first half, 9 different people caught the ball. So
that's good. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that we got Vincent Newsom, a freshman, got him involved in the offense, and James Bittner continues to contribute, and Bryce Cabanis, and as I said, I mentioned Frankie, and of course Dylan Cannell continues to have just a real good season for us, not just making big catches, making tough catches, balls that are kind of out of his circle, out of his area. He's going up and getting balls vertically and making some clutch catches in key situations. So. Jake Welch, as I mentioned, had a real good day receiving. So I just love seeing the ball spread around to a lot of different people. Giving guys confidence that they can contribute to whatever we're doing, and you never know. You go through a few more injuries, you may have to lean on some of those guys that have been marginal players. I know that a year ago last night, Dylan Cannell had his breakout game. From the Althoff game on, he had a terrific junior year. Up to that point, he hadn't done a whole lot, and we knew he was going to sooner or later, and it's just that's the kind of thing that I think could be carried over to this season, what he did last year, starting with the Althoff game, and I'm hoping we get a few of our younger players who are contributing right now to get some confidence, play well here at the end of the season, and then carry that over to 2019.
Before we get into Althoff, I want to touch on one other thing. Another outstanding pink out, raised more than $15,000 to benefit not only Unit 2 families, but the Mike Shornack Scholarship Foundation, and just a tremendous outpouring from the community to support the pink out. Man,
it's just a great feeling to see so many people be involved and come out and support the pink out and sponsor the jerseys and buy the fundraising material, and the t-shirt sales district-wide was a phenomenal. But to raise that kind of money and to be able to have the game of football that we play in the fall season, to be able to contribute back and help people, we get a lot here. Our kids get a lot of stuff. We have a lot of team meals. We get fed a lot. We get apparel. We get this, through our fundraising stuff we do, and it's such a good feeling to take an opportunity to be able to raise some money and give that back to the community, to people that need it. And so yeah, it was a good night in a lot of ways, but in particular the pink out was a big success.
Let's talk about your opponent this Friday, Althoff. The Wildcats go on the road, first game at their new stadium. We'll talk about that in just a second, but Althoff is a different team than they've been in the past few years. And a lot of they're 1-4, and it seems like maybe a lot of schools are licking their chops. I think you also got to be careful because they've shown flashes. They were very good against Mount Vernon, and so it's not one that the Wildcats can sleep on.
I don't know that I would ever coach a season or I would ever take Althoff lightly, regardless of regardless of any kind of record. I mean, look, their schedule this season has been brutal. I mean, they've played a very tough schedule, and he's got a young football team, and Althoff's success speaks for itself. I just throw records out the window. I mean, I've never been someone that based my coaching or my team's preparation on the record. I just think that's a dangerous business to get into, and you're comparing scores, and it's all about matchups. I know they're well coached. I know they've got football kids. I know Ken Turner will have them ready and his coaching staff. We better play a really good football game if we want to be 4-2. I'm just telling you. We've talked to our kids about it already this week. Forget their record. It's Belleville, Althoff, and they're going to come to play. We're going to be at their place. Their backs are against the wall. It's a very proud, tradition-rich program. So yeah, got to be really careful here. And we've never taken anybody lightly before, so I don't know why in the world that we would start now. But I know we won't as a staff. I don't think we have the kind of team that would do that. But boy, if someone does, they're going to get surprised. Because I still think, you watch them on film, they do a lot of things well. I think, maybe a little bit like us at times, there's been some inconsistency, but I still think they're a good football team.
It's a situation where this is another series. We've talked about some of these before, Cahokia, the Centralia series, but this is another series where a lot of unusual things happen. I know one year when Marion was a substantial underdog, they went up to Belleville and beat them with a running clock. And I know other times when it's supposed to be a lopsided game, it's been really close games. And the Althoff game is the one where you rallied from 2 touchdowns down in the last minute and a half the first time you beat them. So it's a series where a lot of strange things can happen.
That's a really, really good point. I think there have been years where we've been maybe a little more of a favorite. I don't know if we were ever a favorite against them, but maybe an evenly matched. It just seems like it never matters. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter who maybe the favor coming in. It doesn't matter because the games are always close. I mean, my first 3 years, they beat us pretty bad the first 3 years. And then the 4th year I was here, we had a decent regular season game, and they destroyed us in the playoffs on a Friday, on a Saturday
afternoon.
Yeah, I tried to forget that. So, but other than that, since then that we've had relatively close games, except for 1 year, well, maybe 4 years ago, we beat them up there at a pretty good score. But normally it's a very close game down to the wire. We've had some fantastic finishes, and I would absolutely expect that again this time. I think it'll be a close ball game, and I think 2 teams that have won a lot of games in the South 7 in the last 15 years, and I think, as I said, throw the scores out the window. I think throw the records out the window. Whatever's happened in the past, I think what matters is what happens Friday night, and I think they'll come to play, and I know we will too.
Every time you've played them before, they've not been at home really. They've been kind of on the, even though they're close to home, they're not at home. So this is your first time to play them in their actual true home facility, a brand new facility that opened last year.
I hear good things about it. I hear it's a beautiful place to play, and I kind of miss the old place though already.
Yeah,
there's something cool about that.
Well, now, do you miss the old Township Stadium with the grass and the big hill, or do you miss the candy cane turf?
I think just the kind of the atmosphere of it is kind of a bold stadium. It was old school. I liked playing at the old place. I really did. I think it had a lot of tradition to it. It had it had a neat personality, as a stadium can have a personality. But I liked that old place. I always did, even when it was back. I didn't like the Crown Field.
Yeah,
that took some getting used to. But I don't know. I'm sure the new place is amazing. I've heard really good things about it, and it's a great surface to play on, and that's what everyone speaks highly. But I just it's going to be neat though to go someplace different. And so many of the conference schools, I hear Cahokia and Carbondale are getting turf next year, and we're going to be and of course Centralia doesn't need turf because they have the most beautiful grass I've ever seen in my life.
Really nice.
So it's just great to hear because you got that, you don't have to worry about weather conditions and so forth. Level playing field for everybody, and we practice and play on it quite a bit ourselves. So, but I heard it's a nice stadium. We look forward to playing the Crusaders there.
I have to ask this question. We do every week. Didn't really notice any dings or dents last week. Everyone get out of there pretty healthy.
Yeah, Josh Schmid right now is dealing with a leg injury, and we're not sure how serious it is. It may not be serious. It may be. We don't know yet. So he's the only one we've kind of got on the IR right now, if you want to call it that. So he'll probably be out this week, but we've got some other guys working there, and we'll try to get through until we can get him back. But he's been a nice addition this year and had a really good year for us at F-back. So anyway, that's the only one. Everyone else, other than your standard nicks and dings this time of year and a little flu bug going around, we're as good as one could be expected for week 6.
After 2 weeks at home, it's another test for the fans to get out and travel.
Yeah.
They always seem to do that.
They do. Well, they always bring a good crowd to Belleville, and we have 4 games left and 3 on the road, so we're going to be road warriors again to finish the season. So but hopefully we can continue to improve and get better and continue to practice well. We had a good week of practice last week. I think that transferred to the game. I'm hoping we can do that again this week.
All right, if you're looking to get there, it's at the high school, at Althoff High School now, no longer at Township Stadium or Lindenwood College or whatever the names of those former stadiums used to be at. Althoff High School starts at 7 o'clock Friday night.
Does. And we need to give a shout out to Ken Turner because I understand that Coach Turner from Althoff watches the show.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we give him a
all
shout
right.
out today. I'm glad he's watching. Look forward to competing with him on Friday.
All right. That's Marion head football coach Kerry Martin for Dateline Marion. I'm Tim Petrowich.